The real control in life is when you have no control. Have you realized the things you want in your life usually come when you're not looking for them or you're not trying to control them? And if you are controlling them, you're manipulating them to get them. And guess what you got to keep doing to get them? You got to keep manipulating. Most people are afraid of their power. You are afraid of your power. You're afraid to have power over yourself because it causes you to be responsible for the things you want, and you don't want to be responsible because you're afraid if you're responsible, you're not going to get the result. So you just rather settle and complain and be a victim. God does not create us to be victims. We're victors. We're winners. You're here to win and serve and live out your purpose. Spiritual Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Bigger, and we're back again with another episode. And today, we're going to talk about God's plan or your plan and how to surrender to life when things around you do not make sense. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you and give a big shout out to Simplify Impact, who hosts my podcast, who is responsible for my YouTube algorithm and everything that you get to see on social and on the YouTube space. So if you're looking for a marketing team and you want to get your website, your YouTube, your podcast, and a high search engine for SEO and marketing for more visibility, check out Simplify Impact. Check the show notes, book a call, and talk to the team. Shout out to Maddie and everybody who supported me in this journey. Also, it's miracle season. Shop is miracleseason.co. Get 50% off this summer for all merch. Use promo code MSEASON, MSEASON, all caps, for 50% off. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. God's plan or your plan. And most times in life, we like to run our plan until our plan has no direction, no guidance, and it hits a ceiling and we hit a wall and we don't know what to do. And so we keep fighting. We're overwhelmed. We're anxious. We're in fear. We're living in lack. We're living in scarcity. But today, I'm going to give you a few ways to think, a few ways to operate when you're in a space when you need to surrender, let go, trust, and allow God's plan to become your plan. All right? So let's get it started. I want to start with a story. Stories are always important. So the end of 2023, I was in a spiritual awakening. I was going through so much that year. I had some highs and had some very lows, very lows. To people who've been following this podcast, 2023 was in a very toxic relationship, I would say. More like a twin flame. It was good when it was good, and it was bad when it was bad. But in that relationship, you know, I was with someone who was suicidal, who had severe anxiety and depression. And I had to hold space for that person. Also, at the time, my dad was in and out the hospital. I was going through an ego death, being out here in Hollywood, wearing this mask that I presented for all these years. And that awakening put me through the fire. And I had a lot of fear. I was anxious. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't making money. I wasn't getting brand deals. Things just wasn't happening in a way I anticipated, or how I really like to say, my plan wasn't planning. So through the grace of God, because God has always been in my life and on my team, I got rid of a lot of old relationships, that relationship including, and friends that I had for years. So it was devastating. There was a lot of betrayal, but I had the opportunity to go on the Sherry Show. Went on the Sherry Show, performed my segment for 5 minutes, was in New York by myself, lonely. Got back to LA within 2 days. I was bedridden for like 5 days because I was just, I don't know, I got sick. I just feel like I got really sick. In that space of 2023 up until December of 2023, I had this fear of losing it all, this fear of what I'm going to do, this fear of how do I show up to the world as myself, this brand that I created, and I have no direction, no guidance. I'm lost. I'm overwhelmed. I'm in shock. I'm in fear. The person that I thought was going to be here and be close in these trouble moments was my partner, but I had to release her. right? I was in fear. My body was in fear. I mean, my lower half of my body, like I didn't feel strong. I didn't feel in my body. I felt so disconnected from source. And when I got back from New York, even though I was sick, I said, you know what? I'm gonna get back to the basics. I'm gonna do the things that got me here. I'm gonna open up the Bible and read Proverbs every day. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna get back into reading. I'm gonna do all the intangible things I've done prior to get where I'm at. But in that process of that intention, I wanted to get back to my God energy, my God frequency, right? I wanted to get back to that God in me that I know, that I have certainty and trust in the unseen. And I was willing. I said, okay, whatever it takes, God. And, I had got a hit, God was talking through me to me. And so it's just you and I. Let's get into it, and with that download, with that intuitive hit and that nudge, I just did the little things to get me closer. And somehow, some way, this fear that I was going to lose everything, because it wasn't even about losing the thing. So whatever you're dealing with, you're going to lose a job, lose a partner, lose money. It's not even losing those things, actually. It's the energy of loss. It's the energy of fear that's crippling you right now, that's causing you not to trust and have faith in the unseen, not to have faith in your higher power, not to have faith in what you want to evolve for your greatest good. But this is where you got to surrender and let go. And I also wanted to add, in that space of having that conversation, an intuitive hit of it's just me and God, I also had the attitude like, you know what? And it was when I made a decision and I said, fuck it. Like literally said, like, I don't care. Like, okay, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I'm willing to deal with what comes with it. I just let go. I completely let go. And it was so odd. That energy of fear just left my life. It left my body. I didn't care. I was comfortable accepting what was going to happen. Win, lose, or draw. I just surrendered. I said, okay, God, let's go. All right, whatever happens, and I didn't know how I was going to make money. Rent was coming up. I'm going to just surrender. And it wasn't until I let go, maybe a few days went by, and I remember it like yesterday. It was 3:48 in the morning, and I get a long text message from a former client say, Eric, I need you. How much did you charge? I need to get back in your energy. I need help. I was like, what is happening? And then I did a business move where I said, you know what, instead of charging monthly, let me charge 6 months for a container for a client. And then I did that, and that worked. So within 2 weeks, getting back centered to who I am and surrendering to allow the God flow and trusting my intuition on business or opportunity and charging the prices I value and I feel worthy of, I was able to make more money in those 2 days than I made in the last 3 months of 2023. All because I stopped fighting. I stopped trying to figure out how I was going to do the next thing or how I was going to get to the other side of my plan. Not God's plan, my plan. So hear me out. Right now, you're running a plan that's not in alignment of God, and that's why you're in fear. When it's from God, there's no fear. There's trust. There's certainty. There's faith. There's favor. There's love. There's guidance when you're in the God frequency. When you're in your God essence, you're the divine flow. But when you're running your paradigm of your program of what you think, and you're going from your ego mind and not your God mind, you crash and burn, you burn out, you hit a wall. And guess what happens? The beautiful thing about God, no matter how much you run your plays or your plan, God is always going to find you and you're going to find God. Because if you go in history and look at some of your greatest people that you look up to, look at their turning points, their pivotal moments, somehow, some way, they talk about God. They talk about higher power. They talk about the universe. They talk about the creator. They talk about having more certainty than logic. So right now, if you're stressed, if you're overwhelmed, if you're anxious, if you're worried, it's because you're being in your logical mind. God is not logical. God is omnipresent. God is infinite intelligence. God is everything and everywhere. So when you get so caught up in the 3D, reality, the matrix, the logic of your mind and life, you're playing small. You're dropping into fear and control. You're losing all your power, right? Because you're coming from a space of fear. So the biggest thing to know, the real control in life is when you have no control. Have you realized the things you want in your life usually come when you're not looking for them or you're not trying to control them? And if you are controlling them, you're manipulating them to get them. And guess what you got to keep doing to get them? You got to keep manipulating so that manipulation controls you to manipulate, to have control. Now, when you think you have control, you're out of control. You're chaotic. You're overwhelmed. So what happens is when you're in your plan and you're running your program, even people who do really well in life and are very successful, they're not in God's plan. They're in their ego plan. And when their plan hits a wall, they don't have no clue of what to do, but continue to control, force, and empower and do things their way, because that's the masculine that wants to control. And that's when you got to let the femininity, the receiver, the trust, the essence of flow, omnipresence, the God energy and essence to come through you so you can relax. You can be more grounded and trust in your presence and allow expansion. So also, what you must do is you must slow down. So one, when life doesn't make sense, for you right now in this moment, the number one thing you need to do is slow down. Slow down and get quiet and connect to your heart and connect to your body. You might be asking, so what should I do? Go to YouTube, put on a 5-minute healing frequency meditation and just sit there with your hand over your heart and slow your breath down. You gotta relax your body, calm your mind, regulate your nervous system. That's the number one thing you do. I need you to slow down, get quiet, go to YouTube and look up healing frequencies. Put your phone on 5 minutes and slow your heart rate down, slow your mind down, and connect to your body. Breathe. Okay? So that's number one. 2, as you're in this space, I don't want you to look for answers. Let the answer, the download, the insight, the sign, the symbol come to you. So you might be erratic, scattered brain, and 3 minutes in, you're slowing your heart rate down, and your spirit might say, call mom. I need you to follow that intuitive hit. I need you to follow that nudge, the insight. You got to listen to the listener. So number 2 is listening to your intuition, listening to the signs, symbols, the words, or the downloads you need to progress ahead, right? So that's 2. 3, when you get this information and you take it for what it is, you process it, you contemplate, you have to take inspired action, right? When I was going through my crisis in 2023, the first thing that came to my mind was like, I got to find a way to make my business online because it's summertime, clients are out of town. I have no business. What am I going to do? And then I thought about, okay. And it wasn't that I thought about having a client train with me online. It just happened. But I already had the conscious thought, the intentionality to take my business online because I want to be all over the world, coaching, training, living, loving, laughing. But it was an intention because I had slowed down. I was able to listen in quietness, and I listened, and I took inspired action. So slow down, get in quiet mode, put on the meditation, healing frequencies, listen to what comes up. If you got to take notes, write it down, listen to what comes up. 3, you got to take inspired action. And if that doesn't work, go to the gym. Move your energy. Move your body. Get out of your head. Get out of your head and get in your body. Put on some good music or a good podcast and move the energy. I need you to tap back into the source of you. That's where God lives, in the source of you. The church you need to go to is the church of your soul. Bible you need to read is the Bible of your soul. You, we, us, the world, we have to stop being afraid of our God we have within. Most people are afraid of their power. You are afraid of your power. You're afraid to have power over yourself because it causes you to be responsible for the things you want, and you don't want to be responsible because you're afraid if you're responsible, you're not going to get the result. So you just rather settle and complain and be a victim. God does not create us to be victims. We're victors. We're winners. You're here to win and serve and live out your purpose. And that's what spiritual fitness is about. So if you're listening to this podcast, if you're listening to this episode, this discussion, somewhere in the spiritual fitness of your soul, your mind, your evolution, your soul's purpose wants you to listen to the listening so you can live out your design while you are here. The world has us confused. Make money, be successful, have followers, go viral, this, that. No. What is your world saying? My world of me is telling me I need to do this episode and talk about God's plan versus your plan. God's plan versus free will. That's what my higher self, my third eye is channeling. To speak through me, the God in me is speaking through me to speak through you, to tap into your God so you can serve your God, to serve the world of you, to serve the life you're meant to live. Not what your spouse, your parents, your friends, your peers are asking you to do. Sit down, get still, listen to the listening, and take advantage of the advantage that your soul is providing you in this lifetime. Because if not, you're going to run the same pattern. And you're going to be on repeat, and you're going to repeat the cycle. And not only you're going to take the impact, your children, your family, your ancestors put you here so you can evolve through this space. That's why I'm here, to let you know, to give you a little push and say, look, I'm in this space, this healing space. It is uncomfortable. I've been chosen in my lineage to go heal ancestral trauma and heal that wound. I have a mother wound that I had to heal in this lifetime. So guess who most of my clients are? Mothers. Guess how I'm healing that mother wound? Through helping my clients who are mothers. So now, because I've been on this path, I understand what my mom went through as a single mother having me. So that resentment I had is out the door, because then I can hold space and have grace and compassion and unconditional love and support for my mom when she was 21 and she had me. Well, my dad wanted her to get an abortion. You get it? You see how life sends you on these journeys that's greater than you? So this is why I'm telling you, it's not your plan, it's God's plan through you. So go sit down, stop worrying about how you're going to pay the bill, stop worrying about how you're going to eat. The best things happen when you quiet the mind and you slow down. And there are a lot of successful people who are still on autopilot, making all this money. Because guess what? If they don't make the money, they don't have no business. And if they don't have no business, they don't have no life. Wrong. That's the story they tell themselves. So they're afraid to slow down and do nothing because they don't want to feel what comes up. They don't want to feel those real emotions because it's going to reveal a part of them that they've been avoiding or suppressing because they don't know how to look themselves in the mirror and accept the shadow parts of their life, accept the parts of them that they hide from or they forgot to unwind years ago. Some of you might be in the middle of a divorce. Some of you might be moving to a different city or different state or leaving a friendship group or a chat or taking a different path. Trust your knowing. Stop being afraid of your power. It's God's plan, not your plan. Get in tune with your God frequency and your life will change. And guess what? It's simple. The only thing that's making it hard is your mind. And guess what your mind is? Your ego. Point blank simple. Your ego is always trying to protect you, keep you safe, and tell you a lie to keep you where you are. But your higher mind, your higher self, not your lower self, your higher self wants the best for you. And sometimes the best things are not always easy to move through. So I have grace for you. I have compassion for where you are. I'm not judging you. I'm not telling you what to do, what not to do. I'm saying if you want to make sense of where you are, you got to get still. You got to be present. You got to be able to listen with an open mind and open heart and not get frustrated or angry or have an attitude about what's not happening, what your job is not giving you, what your spouse is not giving you, how your kids are making you feel. Your body might be breaking out. You might be in pain. You might have messed up your foot or ankle. You're having back problems because your body is telling you something and you're not listening. So I'm the messenger. I'm giving you the message. So that's all. That's it. Comment, subscribe, share, like this episode, share this episode with your family members, your friends. Listen to it over and over and over and over again until it clicks in your subconscious mind. Reprogram your subconscious mind. Connect with me on here. Go to my YouTube. Connect with me on Instagram. Send me a DM. Let's talk. Let's build rapport. Let's live our dreams out loud. Let's get you to tap into your soul's purpose so we all can be living in a high frequency if you choose to do it when you're ready. I love you and I care about you. Make sure you love you and care about you. So that being said, this is another episode of Spiritual Fitness. I'm your host, Eric Bigger. Before I leave, I'm going to pray because it's on my heart to pray for everyone listening in this moment. So let's take a deep breath. Slow the heart rate down. Bow our heads and let us pray. Dear God, as we come to you in this moment, we just want to say thank you. Bless every person listening right now. Bless every person that's going to watch this. Bless their life, their mind, their body, their soul, and allow them to tap into their soul's purpose. Get into their heart space. Feel the feels. To love the love that they suppressed for so long from themselves and allow them to be guided and have discernment and trust their knowing and trust their intuition and listen to that God's voice and not the ego voice. God, give everybody grace and compassion. Give them signs, symbols, and opportunity to live out that design and give them everything they need to trust your timing and not their timing and trust your plan, not their plan, and to get in alignment of their soul's assignment for the greater good of their soul's evolution. And guess what? We know it might not make sense to the world they serve or to the people they know, but as long as it makes sense for their hearts and their minds and their essence, so be it. Allow your will to be done in their space, in their place, wherever they are in the world. So much gratitude, God. We just want to say thank you as we touch and agree. Amen. And I'm done. Subscribe. I see you guys soon. Spiritual Fitness. Stay fit.